I was like, nope. Put my clothes on. That was that. I never took a shower there ever again. Hey guys, it's Cassie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming at you with a story time. This story time is a little spooky, and I know a lot of people don't believe in ghosts or they don't believe in paranormal activity, but let me tell you right now, on record, that it is real. I used to not think it was, but after the multiple experiences that I witnessed, I now know that it is real. So yeah, so this is going to be a story time about my experiences with ghosts and paranormal experience. To start off, my dad and my mother divorced, so my dad moved in with his friend, okay? His friend is a radio talk show host, so he had bought this big house, and my dad was like, okay, can I rent the basement? And he was like, yeah, sure. So they both lived in this house together, and it was a good deal for my dad's friend because my dad is a wonderful chef and he's always cooking for everyone. To start off, the first day that I ever entered this house, I brought my friend Sarah. So we were both looking at the house, very beautiful house. Looks kind of like an old type of vibe, more like Greece vibes, Italian vibes. So anyways, we're like kids watching TV. She's like, all right, bet. So we were watching TV, and imagine this. There's a TV, and there's two bookshelves. And the bookshelves are filled to the core, to the point where, you know, you're trying to squeeze in a book because it won't fit? That's basically what it was. So we're watching TV, and out of the corner of my eye, and out of the corner of her eye, all we see is like the middle bookshelf and the middle book almost looked like an invisible finger, like slowly was like pulling it out until it fell. And we both looked at each other. I'm like, did you see that? She's like, did you see that? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, okay, that was weird. So I like look at the book because I believe in fate and signs and stuff. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is a sign, you know? Let me see what this book says. And it was acting for dummies. So I'm like, either I'm supposed to be like an actress or something's telling me I'm just dumb. So I don't know. But now looking back at this sign, I feel like it was the dummy thing. And it kind of creeps me out thinking about it. Then I looked at where the fuck I was going to be sleeping. Okay? So imagine this. First of all, the door to the basement was not there because this house was very open vibes, like no doors, whatever. So walk down the stairs, and right directly down the stairs is a door. But when you open this door, it's a creepy ass old wine cellar made of wood, and it's big. And when you open the door, all you see is this like little wooden table, one chair, and a little light that's dangling on top of it. I was like, ew, close. And then right next to that was my bed. But do you know what my bed was against? Obviously it was against the wall, but it was a mirrored wall. The whole wall was a mirror. The wall that was like corresponding to that wall was also a mirror. So if I look left, if I look behind me, all I see is myself, and I'm hoping that I'm not going to be seeing some other thing, okay? So that was just already creepy. Anyways, then I started noticing that when I would go to bed, every single night I'm waking up at 3, every single night. And I'm hearing some shit in the kitchen. So when I go to bed, if I look up into the door that's not there, all I see is the kitchen. And I'm hearing every single night at 3, pots and pans, like forks, like drawers being opened and closed, like just weird. And I never wanted to go and check because I knew nobody would be there, and I know I'd see some creepy shit. So hell fucking no. Then this one night, my dad was making dinner for everyone because obviously it wasn't just us living in this house. It was, you know, his friend and his son and his girlfriend would also eat with us. So the doorbell rings randomly as we're in the middle of dinner. And someone says, oh, it must be the ghost. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And they're like, well, look, I'm going to open the door. No one's going to be there. They open the door. No one was there. They're like, yeah, it's just the ghost. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, well, yeah, I don't know. Weird things have been happening, so we're thinking it's a ghost or something. And I'm like, what do you mean weird things have been happening? And basically, the son had said that him and his girlfriend, this one night, were watching TV. All the lights are closed. And out of nowhere, from behind them, all they heard was like a big bang, like all the pots and pans were clanging against each other. And they were like, what the actual fuck, because it scared them. So when they opened the light, they looked, nothing was on the floor. The only thing that happened was the pots and pans were swinging around. And they're like, that's weird. But they said that's not the only thing. The doorbell always rings. We check the circuits, it's not the circuits. And also, we always see weird things like flashing back and forth sometimes. So that's weird. And I'm like, okay, well already now I'm thinking about the bookshelf and this stuff, and I'm telling them all these experiences, and they're like, okay, yeah, there's definitely a ghost in this house. And I'm like, oh my god, okay. Now I just confirmed that everything I was feeling was true. Not only that, but I was always feeling the presence, like staring at me, like always feeling like something was behind me, like looking at me when I'm sleeping, like just really, really weird. This one night, I'm trying to sleep, and obviously I'm waking up at 3 in the morning again, hearing shit in the kitchen. I'm like, oh my god. We had like washer and dryer right next to like, well, in the basement obviously, because that's where you normally store it. Well, not normally, but that's where we stored it. So we stored it there, and it was off. But as I'm trying to keep falling asleep, it starts beeping, and I couldn't figure out why the fuck it was beeping because it was off. I'm like, what is pressing this fucking button? What ghost is trying to fuck with me? Okay. And I kept doing it, and I literally couldn't sleep, and I was getting so scared. I was feeling like something was staring at me. I was hearing shit in the kitchen. This fucking dryer was beeping on and off, and I'm literally so terrified. I'm trying to call every single family member of mine that was at my mom's house and being like, please someone pick me up. I'm like literally terrified. Please someone pick me up. And the only person that answered was my sister. And she was like, no, I'm going to sleep. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, what if I died or some shit? Okay, what if something really bad happened to me? I got possessed or something, and it was like your fault, okay? So I was pissed. But as time went on, every time I would be going to my room or in the basement, I would smell this like disgusting smell, like garbage, like sulfur in the basement. And I'm like, yo, and apparently I looked it up, and that's a huge sign of ghosts in your house. Not only that, but whether it was winter or summer, it was always freezing cold, and it was costing them money. But when they got someone to try to check it out, nobody knew what it was. Like, the guys were like, I don't know what's going on, I don't know why it's always cold, I don't know why the heating doesn't work, I don't know why the air conditioning is to that max there. So they're like, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And they're like, oh my god, like, what the hell? I was always so cold. At the time I was doing photography, I really liked photography, I had a little phase, and I invited my friend over because she liked taking pictures. And we were in the backyard, it was summer, we're taking pictures, whatever. Then we got tired and it was really, really hot, so we wanted to go inside. I just told her all the creepy things that had happened in the house. So, told her about the bookshelf, told her about all these things. So, when we went inside, I was like, I want to watch TV. She was like, okay. But as we entered that room, the whole bookshelf was on the floor. And not even like 2-3 minutes later, the doorbell rings, and I'm like, Sam, like nobody's gonna be there. Opened the door, no one was there. We were like, fuck this, we're not staying in this house. So we literally went outside of the house, we were walking up and down the street, kept passing by my house again. And I started noticing that the windows were like opening every time I passed by the house. Like a new window was opened, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, hey, maybe I'm just tripping because I'm scared. But I took pictures in front of the window before. So I was like, okay, let me check if like, you know, the window is open or closed. So I checked. The window was fucking closed. So I was like, yo, what the hell? Like, who the fuck is opening these windows to like fuck with us? Like, this ghost was like jokes or some shit. Because, yo, it was fucking with me hard. So yeah, that was so creepy. And I told my dad, I'm sorry, but I can't stay in this house. Like, he kept telling me there's no ghosts, oh, there's circuits, because it's not a ghost, it's because literally like when the doorbell rings at someone else's house, it'll ring our doorbell. I'm like, okay, Do you know how science works? Do you know how circuits work? Because I learned this shit in Sec 3. I think I know. That is cap. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So if I was scared before, I'm more scared now because I know you're fucking lying to me. So yeah, that was just no. So then another dinner happens, and talking to the girlfriend and the son, I'm telling them everything that's happened. And they're like, oh yeah, it's confirmed, like there is a ghost in this house. I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, yeah, so my dad was basically like getting ready to go to bed, and he was at the edge of his bed. And you know how we have no doors in this house, so he has no door to his room either. So he's at the edge of his bed, and in front of him is the corridor. And all he sees is a guy. And he's like, he thought it was his son, so he's like, Kevin? And then the ghost, because it was a ghost, looked at him, and he was like, oh, are you like Kevin's friend? And then he just turned around and walked through a wall. So that's how they knew that there was a ghost. And so my dad's friend is a radio talk show host, so he's talked about this like on the radio too and everything. So that's how you know that shit's real. No one's gonna be lying about that. I wouldn't be lying about that. It literally scared the shit out of me every single time I went in that house. I would tell my mom about it, and she would laugh. And I'm like, it's not funny, because I cry every time I try to sleep because I know something is staring at me. And not only that, there's one time, and obviously I realized this ghost was young, okay? So maybe this ghost was like a creepy ghost that liked to look at naked women or something. But literally, I was taking a shower. I was naked. I was getting ready to go in the shower, and all I hear from behind me is, hey, sweetie. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, hey, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it was my dad being like, hey, sweetie, like, are you, are you done? So I opened the door. No one's there. No one's there. No one's saying anything. I'm like, hello? No one said anything. And I was like, nope. Put my clothes on. That was that. I never took a shower there ever again. So that was the creepy paranormal things that have happened to me in that house. I've had some other creepy things happen to me in other places, but honestly, probably my fault because I did some stupid things. And most people know about those stories. So if you want a part 2, I will film another part 2 on those paranormal experiences. But that was this house that my dad had lived in for a short amount of time, because I know that he could not stay there either, because he left very soon after. Literally like a year. He was like, I'm out of here, I'm getting my own place. I'm like, So if you enjoyed this video, or if you have any stories, ghost stories that you've experienced, feel free to comment below. I'm like really curious and seeing like what your experiences are, if you've ever seen any paranormal things. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, you know the deal. And I'll see you in the next video.